right. All right. Hey, good evening, folks. How you doing? It's good to be here. Oni Eureka, what's going on? Oh my goodness, that's such a cute emoji. Thanks for being here. Good evening, Lucas. How you doing, my friend? What's going on tonight? Good evening, King. Oh my God, that's so kind of you to say. RJ says Rem is making Dylan Burns cry right now. What is he making him cry about? What is he making him cry about? Let's see what's going on there. Oh my God, so cute. Let's see, talking to Ramba's panel show. Okay. Yeah, I saw a little bit of Vosh and Tim Pool. Yeah. Admittedly, I was thinking about maybe postponing the stream so I could watch that, but I agreed to talk to Peyton tonight, who I think you folks will enjoy, and I figured, hey, you know what? One, I can't stream anything related to Vosh, and somebody told me today Tim Pool as well, although I don't know about that. I don't think Tim Pool's been banned from Twitch, but yeah, so I'll have to check it out. It's kind of boring, actually, Vosh and Tim. Well, I watched a couple minutes of it after I got out of the shower, but, you know. Bassi, yeah, I saw they delayed Cyberpunk. Yeah, by what, 23 days, I think? It's kind of, I'm not a gamer. I think gaming is, gaming is a threat to our great country. Gaming and corn subsidies really just dragging the average American down. But that said, I do play a game now and then, and it seems like the Blizzard approach of, well, at least I don't know if this is still their approach, but the older Blizzard approach of take as long as you need to make it as good as possible, no commitments as to the end date, is better than making a commitment and then continually having to drag it out. So that's my guess. Major Paranoia, it's good to see you. How you doing? Downing Dicon, I think that's you, Peyton, right? How dare you attack the Iowan tradition of getting corn subsidies? I know, right? What tips do you have for someone wanting to become a neoliberal politics streamer? Well, get a camera, get a mic, and then get to it, because I guess really, the rest is just practice and kind of feeling it out, So that would be my suggestion there. Yeah, but I started with a pretty cheap webcam. Well, actually, no. I started with it wasn't pretty cheap, actually. It was a $200 webcam and a $75 mic and my laptop, and that's what I was streaming with, which is a relatively low startup cost. That worked quite well for a long time. So, 18 Reviewer says, watch Vosh on Tim Pool. Can't do that, or they'll ban me on Twitch. I wish I could. I actually thought about doing it tonight, but then I realized this isn't the old days where we had 30 people, watching, and of those 30 people, everybody is friends. I'm pretty sure that if I stream something that I'm definitely liable to get banned for, someone will report me, and we'll just get banned. That's my guess. So I don't want to do that. And streaming Vosh is, totally bannable because Twitch has rules. Ridiculous, very ridiculous rules that make it so you can't stream anybody who's been banned from the platform. So that's my thinking on that. Get a cam and yell at chat for 3 hours, sleep and repeat. Oni Eureka, that's good advice, except I don't sleep much. Well, I have, I've been trying to catch up on a little bit. Break Mirrors, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that, my friend. It's good to have you. How you doing? Man, thank you so much for that. 10 months, so cool. I'm so glad to have you. Folks, I apologize for being away for so long. But we're trying to make it work. We've got some good content, not just tonight. I'm sure we'll have some fun tonight. Tomorrow we're going to be talking with Ari Cohn, and he's a spicy First Amendment attorney who attacks people on Twitter. And I'm looking forward to that. I think after we talk to Payne tonight, maybe we'll spend a little time looking at this guy and seeing how I might be able to devil's advocate him. because he's not screwing around. So that'll be really exciting. I'm looking forward to that. He's a First Amendment attorney. Like he does this stuff for real. He doesn't just play it while doing something else in the law like I do. Let's see. Hey, Bassett, will you be away for... Oh, sorry, I meant to answer this. Yes, we'll do a stream on election night. And you folks can watch me react live. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that, too. So I appreciate the reminder. Thanks for that. Desi says, pack the courts with Bassey as a justice. Well, I'm not qualified, but then again, that doesn't really stop folks anymore, right? I don't know. Amy Coney Barrett is qualified. Just doesn't have, much experience considering she's now got a job that she'll probably hold for 40 to 50 years. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter. Ultimately, her experience is not a reason why I imagine anybody really is supporting her or opposed to her. You think we'll know the result on election night? Well, Hexolio, I don't know. I'm tempted to think that things will actually work out pretty well because people have been predicting a screwed up election day for so long that hopefully most supervisors of elections, and it's a local level type thing. Hopefully most of them have taken the time to get things right, get things going, and so we'll see. But I don't know, man. There's so many close states now, and I don't know. I'm worried about Pennsylvania myself. That state, everything I've heard about it suggests that election night is going to be a cluster. So, we'll see. D-Shell says, I'm really important. Ban me for defending radical centrism. What is radical centrism? How is that a thing? What is radical centrism exactly? Nate Swade, the wonderful Nate Swade, says, listening to Vosh and Tim Pool talk about the post office is like spending a weekend in Guantanamo. Ha ha ha. Oh, man. Hey. Thanks for that, St. Clark. Love all the great content you do. Keep up the good work, buddy. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Very cool. Very kind of you to say. And thank you now for subscribing for 2 months. Awesome. Right on. All right, Peyton, I'll give you a call in just a minute, and we'll start talking then. Okay. Just pray that Florida goes for Biden early on election night. Yeah, seriously, but it probably won't. The real kicker will be that Florida is 2 time zones, and the second time zone, the Panhandle, is an hour different from the first time zone. And so even if Joe Biden is ahead at the end of the night in the rest of the state, and he may very well be, that last bit of Florida is thick with red Republican votes. So I wouldn't, Florida's a nail biter by design, right? Nate says, knowing Pennsylvania, they probably won't finish counting the votes till the end of November. Oh, God, I hope so. Well, I hope that it works, not that happens. I think the path to victory for either candidate is very tenuous without Pennsylvania, especially for Trump, I think, but also for Biden. So, man, why is it down to Pennsylvania now? When I was younger, Pennsylvania was a pretty reliably Democratic state. I guess not. All right, Keystone State, man. If you're gonna have election chaos, you ought to have it in Florida. The Sunshine State. Man, that's a pleasant place to be. I drove through Pennsylvania one time, and oh my God, it was the worst road work in my life. It was terrible. It's the second worst state I've ever driven through in terms of just driving, other than West Virginia, which was a case all its own. So that's my impression of the state. Just terrible, terrible roads. I just couldn't believe it. It was like, this is Pennsylvania. This is the North. This is the part of the country that's supposed to work. This ain't down south where stuff takes forever. Okay. All right. It's because we were founded by Quakers. Well, what does that have to do with roads? If you don't want to drive on bad roads, don't come to New England either. Oh my God. I remember New Jersey. But New York was pretty good. Well, the highways were pretty good. I took the turnpike, the New York Turnpike, and yeah, that was pretty good. But like, you know, Albany, the city of Albany, the capital of the state of New York, no good. Oh my God, so bad. Tarot says, cold weather, bad roads. Good point. Yeah, that's tough. Famulous Dea says the number of bridges that need repairs in Pennsylvania is terrifying. Yeah, I gotta say, I don't understand why infrastructure is so tough to do in this country lately, but I don't know. Like, I genuinely don't understand. I know, you know, we need money, but it seems like more of an issue than money. Maybe Nate knows. Is that a Diet Coke? Yes, it is a Diet Coke. Okay. Steez the Alien, thank you so much for the kind words. I'm doing quite well, and we're about to be doing even better because we are going to talk to our good friend Peyton here. Peyton was going to be on the show a while back, and then there was that hurricane that happened. I don't know if you remember that I was off for like 3 weeks because the hurricane knocked off my power and then my internet. But hey, we're back now. D-Chill says, did you see the decision in Wisconsin last night? Brett is previewing Bush v. Gore 2 Orange Boogaloo. Yeah, that's spooky stuff. I don't get it. The state doesn't... I mean, the state has an interest in getting the count done quickly, but I don't think it has an interest in, like, you know, election night. That's another issue. Okay. You know, like, election night is, geez, like, what, you know... We were running elections in this country back when we had covered wagons. So this notion of having everything figured out on election night, you know, that's a modern construction that has no, you know, there's no requirement that be the case for a government in the United States to be legitimate. Perry has it right. Yeah, it has to be done by December when the electors vote. But, you know, you can let it go. Now, that said, like anybody else, I'd rather it be on election night. I'd rather know right away. But, you know. It's not an essential requirement. But yeah, Lucas, no damage to the property. So, okay, and I did see the 60 Minutes interview with Trump. Yeah, I don't know. It was all right. Some of the questions from, I believe, Leslie Stahl, some of the questions were kind of lame. You know, the continual, do you denounce? I don't care about that. I mean, eventually he does when you ask him. What was more interesting, though, was just how... desperate he was to like end the interview. I mean, the questions weren't that tough, I thought. You know, I mean, they weren't tougher than others he's had. At least that's what it seemed like to me. It just seemed like he, you know, at the end of the interview, just gets up and, well, he ends it. He just leaves. So, you know, the whole time he's complaining, well, you wouldn't ask these questions of Joe Biden. Well, Joe Biden is also not president, right? Joe Biden is not president. So you can ask Joe Biden about his opinions on policy hypotheticals. You can ask him about his record in the Senate and as vice president. But at the end of the day, you can't ask Joe Biden about why he failed to protect the lives of the 200 and now almost 50,000 Americans who've died of COVID-19. Yeah, it's true. Can't ask him that. It's a little harder to ask him about, you know, whether he denounces white supremacist groups, I guess, when he's, you know, he doesn't have any trouble stumbling around on stage doing that, right? Kite says, that face when you wouldn't ask someone who's exhibited racist behavior if they're racist. No, look, I mean, that part, I guess, is, you know, he's got the same questions there at that point. Does Bassi denounce Pinochet? Yes, we have denounced Pinochet many times on this channel. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, there's just the fact that he can't handle any of the questions. Not just, do you denounce this? Do you denounce this? He gets upset and flustered at every question. And it's, you know, you just grow up, dude. I mean, you're a 75-year-old man. You're president of the United States. Almost 75-year-old man. President of the United States. You still act like a fucking child. Why? You know? Like, what more do you even have to prove at that point? You know? I mean... But hey, who knows what kind of brainworms that fella has. Okay, so here we go. We are going... Just lost the radical right, yeah. I don't think we've ever had him. Okay, here we go. I'm glad to hear that, D-Chill.
Howdy, howdy.
Hey, are you there?
Right here.
Okay. Now, there's your. Okay. Now I see it. All right. Let me turn on the display here. And okay. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. It's good to talk to you. Yeah, I know it's been a while. I know I had to delay for a while, but I'm back to life now with stable, steady internet connection. Although we're gonna have another hurricane on Thursday, hope the internet doesn't disappear. So
Fingers crossed.
yeah, right. So how's everything in Iowa? And actually, if would you maybe you could introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about you and how you found our wonderful stream here.
Yeah. First of all, hi everyone. I'm Peyton. Also, um, heads up, my camera on my laptop is really messed up. Part of like the screen like broke, and like if you look at the side of it, it's like peeling off. So if the light on my camera like flashes between different colors, that's because my laptop is falling apart at the
Uh oh. Okay. Well.
Yeah. Introduction aside. Hi, everyone. I'm Peyton Downing. I am the resident opinions editor at the Daily Iowan, which is the student-run newspaper down at the University of Iowa. Um, Basically, I'm just here because I've been doing a lot of, journalism classes. Obviously, that is my major. And after everything I've, been getting interested in and talking to speakers and looking at the jobs market, frankly, I think that the internet is pretty much the one saving grace of journalism in the future as far as job prospects go. Um, and also, it's just really important. I mean, God, look at and no, I probably shouldn't get into this spiel right away because
Yeah.
God,
Go
I'll
for
be
it.
here for.
Yeah. Go
Oh,
for it.
oh, 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 oh! You're giving me a soapbox.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. Okay, so basically, I think that within the next 2, 3 decades, we're gonna see like a major shift into using the internet to communicate and just relay political information more widespread. I think 2016 and 2020 have easily shown that the internet's just way more important than people thought. Um, God, just looking at how election campaigns alone have run, and the fact that more people are taking note of it. I mean, look at the AOC stream that happened. What was it, last week?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, that was funny. I don't know if you folks in here know about a guy by the name of God. What is his name? Peter Coffin.
Oh yeah,
He did a video about it, and he said, "I wouldn't be on that stream. I wouldn't do that stream because to do that stream, you have to support. You have to be an establishment supporting." And I was like, "Yeah, fucking bullshit." Somebody invites you to a stream of 450,000 people live. You're gonna show up. I don't care if all of these people would call me a degenerate neoliberal shill in front of 450,000 people, because at least a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of them are then gonna come watch my stuff afterward. So anybody who was invited to that stream would absolutely do it.
yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, it was a big stream. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I think that alone is probably. I think in a good timeline, mind you, not the one we're in right now,
Yeah.
because God knows we're in a messed up one. I think that's the sort of way that, at least if not like full on political outreach, at least just like communications would go. I've talked about this with one of my professors at length, um, and basically, what I would enjoy seeing happen in the future is more streams like that happening, but not just with politicians, but their staff as well. I think that these Twitch streams, if nothing else, would be really good for demystifying politics.
Yeah.
Because it's generally like the perception that like, oh, they're politicians, they're else, they're like these big crazy people who are affecting the world as it is. And a lot of people sort of zone out from politics, at least in my opinion, because of that. Oh, it's politics, it's something outside of the normal frame of life.
Yeah.
But if you demystify that process and those people,
Yeah.
it's easier to reach out to them and understand them.
Yeah, no, true. I mean, if you can at somebody and heckle them in a Twitch chat, it makes them a lot more normal, right?
Yeah, and there's also the fact that it's just a lot easier to like do outreach and ask them questions.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you watched it, but this is like a really good example that I sort of thought. Have you been at all paying attention to the Iowa Senate race?
Yeah, with Joni Ernst and I forget the name of the other person, but
Teresa Greenfield, yeah.
yeah, she knows
At the
she
most,
knows how much soybeans cost.
yeah,
She knows how
exactly,
much
exactly.
bushels of corn cost, and Joni Ernst doesn't.
Well, yeah, Joni Ernst doesn't know soybean.
Yeah.
Greenfield definitely knows her corn,
Oh, okay.
as a good old Iowan farmer. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think just like if that kind of gaffe at a debate can mess up a politician, imagine like the gaffes that would come off of Twitch or the not gaffes either. Like you can always at like press releases, prepare your candidate for like questions,
Mm-hmm.
and if they're just like not able to like respond, they'll
Mm-hmm.
like do the little like run around whatever to not seem ignorant.
Yeah.
But in like a Twitch stream, if someone asks you like, hey, what are your thoughts on like this policy, or what do you think about this, they can go like,
Yeah.
I don't actually know about that. I can look more into it. Um, and what I frankly would like is to have their staff there as well.
Yeah.
Imagine if you would, 40 years down the line, we have Democrat establishment member AOC. We've obviously gone so far to the left because of Twitch politics,
Yeah.
obviously.
Right. Yeah.
And someone asks her, hey, what do you think about legalizing cocaine mushrooms? And she goes, you know, I don't know about that. Let me get my policy advocate on here to talk about drug policy. And you can spend a 15-minute
Yeah.
segment talking to them and asking them questions.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But I mean, that Twitch is kind of not, or live streaming is not really good. I think for most politicians because it's not very disciplined. It's just kind of I mean, the fact that it's live, and that you don't really know what's coming at you. I don't know. I think I've often said things while streaming that I thought, I don't like the way I put that. I don't know if that I said that well. I probably shouldn't have given an opinion on this thing I don't actually know anything about. So I don't know. I mean, it seems kind of dangerous if you're a politician to just get on a forum like this and then just read random chat questions and then give kind of off the cuff responses. Although I guess if you have a team of people there who can support you in the process, maybe that would be all right.
Yeah, because frankly, I also like the idea of sort of just getting rid of the idea that politicians pull all this off on their own. Because with re-election ads, God knows there's too many of those going around at the moment.
Yeah.
It's always like, oh, this politician did this, this, and this, or optionally, it's them advocating for themselves, and it's, hey, I did this, this, and this. But I frankly would like to see the people behind the curtain. Not conspiracy baiting here, just like seeing the people who actually like do say, hey, here's what I think you can propose for this type of bill.
Yeah.
Sort of like a real life West Wing with non-presidential cabinet members.
Yeah. No, that was a fun show, when I was a kid, watching The West Wing. It was wholesome. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know if you folks have ever heard of that, for our Zoomers in chat. It was basically an idealized version of the Clinton administration. Like if Bill Clinton was not I guess to put it mildly, a sex pest, and was just a really wholesome, like, I don't know, basically idealized person. Him plus a lot of people, I think, who were modeled after people in his administration. Yeah, I mean, so it was kind of like the ideal liberal administration, and I don't know. It's kind of it's held up in some ways. In other ways, people mock it as like, okay, yeah, is that what you think politics is like? So Keita says disparaging the first black president live on national Twitch TV. Well, I don't remember who called him the first black president. I don't think it was him. I'm guessing, but hey, Bill Clinton, Bill Clinton was a good president, so that's, but at the end of the day, he wasn't an idealized, he wasn't somebody who I guess people would idealize on a personal level. And the West Wing, the idea behind the show was that this was a president who you could look at like in a positive sense there. Family says, my in-laws refer to West Wing for their understanding of civics. I had a teacher who would show the show in class when I was in high school, so they're not alone. Yeah, he was also a good saxophone player, Perry. Good point. I watched an episode and it's aged so poorly, says Life, Liberty, and Property, one of our smartest Zoomers in chat. Anyway, okay. So,
Yeah.
what's going on in how's the Iowa Senate race going? Is Joni Ernst gonna win?
I have no idea. The polling is so unbelievably close at this point. It's it's honestly a coin flip.
Yeah.
I wish I could give more insight, but it's really just a coin flip at this point. I really can't give you any specific insights. The way people covered like the soybean gaffe, it would make you seem like, oh, these farmers are just going to like excommunicate anybody who doesn't understand, the farm and the land. But like it really didn't affect polling that much from what I saw.
Yeah. Makes
Yeah, no,
sense.
it's just a coin flip.
Makes sense. Yeah. So, I know you said earlier the internet is going to define election politics. That feels like a kind of an understatement. I mean, hasn't it already? Like, how could you have something like, QAnon or other conspiracy theories rampant in our national politics without the internet? I mean, this stuff used to spread like it. This kind of stuff that's too gross even for Fox News. Like this, there's, I don't know, the internet has really been like, I don't know, I feel like the internet is already in the driving seat of in the driver's seat of our political life now. I mean, now it's just a question of, like, I guess cable news is still pretty important, but
Yeah. That's what I basically mean, I suppose, when I say that I think the internet's going to become the driving force. When I say that, I think it's more so of like the mainstream adoption of it. Because, like you said, we have a lot of like, cra- you know, I guess the best way to put it is just like crazies and conspiracy theorists, and QAnon's gotten massively large because of it. But I mean more so like the mainstream adaptation of it.
yeah,
Like, back I've got throughout all of journalism's history, basically since the beginning of, since Gutenberg made that first press.
yeah,
We've had, the adaptation of new technologies that, sometimes get seen as like trivial, fanciful pieces
mm-hmm,
that just aren't going to stay. And then like 20 years later, everyone,
yeah.
you know,
Well,
we had it from the printing press to the radio to TV to the internet. And I still feel like we're in that sort of shift towards fully incorporating the internet into the
yeah.
press.
Well, just to be clear, I don't mean by online politics. Keeley says almost no one knows anything about online politics at all. I don't mean like what we do on Twitch. I mean like, I guess normal people getting their information primarily from the internet. I mean that seems pretty widespread. I mean, I think that's kind of a different. Like, is that what? Like, you're not denying that, right? Or are you?
Oh yeah, no, obviously not. I I would say
Yeah,
that
like
on
Facebook is probably the biggest news aggregator.
God,
Like,
I that scares me more than anything. Please. I'm not sure if you paid attention. Have you seen like I'm not sure if they're like leaks, but basically like what executives have been talking about and how Facebook sort of put its thumb on the scale as far as like news flow direction to sites like
yeah,
Mother Jones.
yeah. I don't know what they did, but I've heard that they've done that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just I feel like what I want most of all is for the internet to sort of free up the journalistic establishment that we have right now.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean more so of like, the corporate conglomerates. You got your CNN, you got your MSNBC, you got, the New York Times, WAPO. Like, there are certain things that you're just not allowed, or I don't want to say like not allowed, but it's like heavily discouraged from talking about, and you're not allowed to sort of frame it from this perspective or point of view.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a lot better for us as a democracy if we had a more removed journalism from the interests of these larger corporations. And one example that I want to bring up was this one thing. There was one person who I remember from my like freshman year media history, I think it was,
Yeah.
because for some reason the dude's name just stuck out to me.
Yeah.
I think it was Carlos Slim,
Oh,
and
yeah, the guy who runs the. I mean, he's like the Mexican cell phone billionaire.
yeah, exactly that dude. I think he owns like the largest share of the New York Times. I think that's the publication that he has a share of, and they've never run a single thing even reference Slim
Huh.
because he owns a giant share of them.
Yeah, but
So, you know,
that's true. I mean, I guess. Well, I don't
and
know.
it's
Actually, have they never run
and it's not
anyone?
to say that there's an explicit policy against that. I'm just saying that these sorts of these media corporations aren't incentivized and are
Yeah.
sort of disincentivized from covering the people who own even a portion.
Yeah. I gotcha.
It's not like explicitly saying, "Hey, top editor in chief says you can't run story on owner."
Yeah.
That's bad. But it's just like let's point our writers somewhere else in another direction. And, during editing, if his name comes up, we can poke a little harder, say, hey, do we really need to mention him here? He
Yeah.
seems kind of irrelevant. Like that sort of thing.
Well, I mean, somebody's got to pay for the news.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
if
And
he owns, part of the New York Times, then I guess it's up to other newspapers to cover him, right?
yeah, I that's just the main thing I I as an individual really don't like about the journalism business is the idea of like moneyed interest coming before the truth, basically. You
Yeah.
know, I I don't want to make it seem like melodramatic because if there's one thing I dislike about the sort of like discourse, journalism and like news movies is like the whole we are the stalwart defenders of democracy. We shine a light in the darkness for the public. Like I hate it when it's melodramatic like that, but kind of true.
Like the "Democracy Dies in Darkness" bit from the
hmm Washington
Washington
Post.
Post. Yeah. Well, Condom says, I don't trust any journalists on principle except for Thomas Friedman and Tim Pool. So, I mean, hey, if you think standards are low now.
Yeah, I mean that's actually a really great segue
Yeah.
into my next concern
Okay.
is the fact that you have all these people who have been bombarded with fake news, fake media
Yeah.
narratives,
Yeah.
and a help it's to unhealthy distrust of like mainstream media. I think the internet is either going to make that sort of sense die of like, okay, we really can't get all our news from just people online,
Yeah.
or it booms enough that we have a thriving industry of independent journalism online so that you don't have to, absorb mainstream media narratives, if you
Well,
want to phrase it like that.
I mean, you can look. I mean, I guess one of the things about the success of people like Tim Pool is even though their content is kind of vapid, clearly they have shown that it is possible to sustain yourself. Basically, as an independent journalist, right? Now, I would use the word journalist loosely with somebody like him, but there are folks out there who I'm sure are more legitimate journalists who are nevertheless able to sustain themselves through support from, I guess, their audience. The thing that maybe kind of concerns me is the only folks I can think of who fit that bill. I don't really trust. Like this guy Michael Tracy on Twitter. He's another
Mhm.
one who is an independent journalist. I wouldn't trust him for anything. Same with Tim Pool. Let's see. Gotham says thriving online journalism gave us Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, and Kyle Kalinske. So yeah. I guess
Uh,
yeah. I'm having a hard time thinking about quality here.
yeah, and I mean,
Plenty of like
that's
opinion leaders,
hmm
but not really much in the way of, I guess, journalism.
yeah, that's I guess this is where I come in and say, just wait 5 years for me to get out of college.
Yeah.
You know, hoity-toity over here. But I genuinely think that's sort of what online journalism, if you want to use it to refer to that sort of business as. I think if you give uh, someone who has gone through like journalism and media training,
Yeah.
and you give them these sorts of resources and a platform online, I think that can do a lot of good. I just think that there's a sort of reason as to why the big people of like online journalism are majority opinions people. It's
Yeah.
because opinions are entertaining. They get out there. It's
Yeah.
clippable.
Yeah, and
With
it's easier
more
too, for
factual
sure.
journalism, yeah, that too. With like more factual journalism or just like news, it's not as clippable.
Yeah.
It's hard to make it entertaining without interjecting, opinions in there. And, it's not just gonna draw as much of an audience. You know, I guess during my introduction, I didn't tell you exactly how I got introduced to your lovely streaming community. So I guess this is the part where a portion of your community says based, and a portion of your community says, "Oh wow, gross." I actually found out about you because of your discussion with Bosch,
Yeah. Oh, that's
because
cool.
I interviewed him. Oh God, I want to say over a year ago for another project I did.
Yeah.
And one thing that sort of stuck out to me from that talk was a quote he did when I asked him, "Why do you think like your business model runs so well?" And I don't agree with like the entire premise of it, but basically he said, atomization under capitalism, people are working longer, people are tired, they don't have or want the energy to sort of turn on and just blandly listen to talking heads blabber on about the most recent news for an hour. They want something entertaining. They want something fun. And if you mix those two things together in a live stream, that's if you can inform them, that's great. But you got to bring them there first with
Yeah.
entertainment.
Sure. That makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, I don't have anything I can say against that. Atomization under capitalism is an eclectic, I guess, thing to talk about. I don't know. The situation would be much different under any other system. But hey, that's I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, people want to have fun. I guess the only question I would have is why it was ever any different, if ever, And
Yeah,
yeah, I
definitely.
mean, yeah, I don't know. Like if I think there's this idealized media environment of the 50s, 60s, 70s, maybe 80s where news was just news. And there were opinion pieces here and there, but it was mostly, real hard-hitting journalism, and it wasn't colored by like corporate money or conspiracy nonsense. So I don't know. Somebody in
Yeah,
the chat just said broadcasting has become narrowcasting. Maybe it's just because there are so many. There are so many. I'm guessing this is what you're getting at. Maybe it's because there are so many sources out there that you can turn to that it's hard for anyone or hard for a few to
hmm
maintain their hold on people.
yeah, exactly. We talked about this again in like media history. I believe it was called the fairness doctrine.
Yeah, yeah,
uh, Long ago, it used to be that whenever you covered something on the news, you needed both sides of the issue,
yeah,
50-50.
yeah,
But eventually, people argued, hey, there's so many channels now. We don't really need the fairness doctrine because
yeah,
if you want to get the other side, you just go to that channel's side or that side's channel.
yeah.
And so the fairness doctrine got abolished, and we have Fox.
Well, I mean, I don't really have an argument against. I don't really have an argument against any. Like the fairness doctrine seems to me to be a. To be a. I mean, the government shouldn't. I don't think government has any business trying to tell people what they should broadcast and what they shouldn't broadcast. And the fairness doctrine itself was only ever limited to. Broadcasters, for which there was, it was never like applied to newspapers. It was only limited to broadcasters, and the argument for that was that there was a narrow, they were selling broadcast spectrum, or rather licensing out broadcast spectrum to people, and there was only so much room on that spectrum, and so they had to foster a diversity of views through government policy instead of through just giving people more options. But now that people have more options, I don't know that there's any justification for a policy like that. I mean, you're right. You can just go to some other channel if you want, and that's what people do. People build their own
Mm-hmm.
media bubbles, right?
Yeah, build it and they will come, as they said, and I just lost my entire generation with that reference.
I'd say I think that's a. I've never seen the movie, but I think it's a movie called Field of Dreams, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly. And again, it happens in the good old cornfield.
yeah. So, are you an Iowa native?
Oh no, I'm actually back home in the grand old state of Michigan, believe it or
Oh,
not.
yeah.
I can show everyone on stream where I am. I'm right about here. God,
Oh, yeah.
the one thing I
It
love
looks
about
like a
Michigan
hand.
hand thing, it's great. I love it. If there's one thing you can always do to see if someone's a real Michigander is ask them where they're from. If they don't use the mitten, they're not from Michigan.
is that is
Secret
that
insider tips.
is that let's see. Ghanem says Ghanem, and you're from Minnesota, right? So I guess you can let us know. Um, wait, is that Detroit that you pointed out?
Yeah,
Okay.
suburbs of Detroit, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Also, I see that comment. Lower Peninsula is trash. The UP only has two things: cereal and serial killers. If you think the Upper Peninsula is good, I'm sorry, but I think you need to come downstairs to civilization.
That's a trip. Like 7 of the 10 worst cities in America are in the Lower Peninsula of Michigan. Wow, 7 of them? Damn.
I find that hard to believe. I
How
might be wrong, but I have too much pride as a Michigander to admit it anyway.
about that? There are a lot of famous people from Michigan too, like Kid Rock. I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's from Michigan. I
Ooh,
really,
ooh, we
I
got a
don't know anything
source.
else, but. Okay, worst.
Oh no.
Let's see. 6 Michigan cities make list of worst places to live in America. Wow. That's crazy. This E-Course. What a name. E-Course, Michigan. Benton Harbor, Muskegon Heights, Detroit, not number one, Flint, and Highland Park. Whoa, that's crazy. Highland Park. Have you ever been to Highland Park?
Don't believe so.
Highland Park is the poorest American city by a wide margin. Its median household income is $15,699. Whoa, that's crazy. Only city in the nation where most households earn less than $20,000 a year. Holy moly! Well, ladies and gentlemen, Highland Park, Michigan needs some help. Wow.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah. Although Ghanem is from Minnesota, where he lives like in a cabin in the woods in the far north. So I mean,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if we want to like bring DC and Puerto Rico in the States, we can just like give Hawaii back and let Minnesota get annexed by the Canadians. I mean, they're practically Canadian already, so it's like nothing changes.
wow. Yeah, Ghanem definitely sounds Canadian when he calls in the show. So he says, "Base, I want free healthcare." Well,
Ah, damn.
you got him. All right.
All right.
Okay. So, let's see. So, how are you feeling about journalism? I guess journalism education. Like, I did that when I was an undergrad. I did public relations, and so there was a lot of overlap. Although public relations is a little different because the main goal in public relations was to convince. It was to basically convince newspapers and news agencies to run positive puff pieces on your clients. So a
Mm-hmm.
different perspective that I went to school for. I forget that sometimes, but I'm literally a trained shill. So what about how do you feel about it? Do you feel like the education is keeping up with the times, or that it's like they're focused on a bygone era?
I think in large part it's doing pretty well. They don't like mince words around. Um, I would say that based on all my classes, I've been encouraged to look outside of newsrooms for employment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like journalism in of itself isn't exactly a booming business right now. Local presses are literally dropping like fries, or not fries, flies.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of research and discussions going on right now that basically say, hey, your local hometown paper, it's dying. Like, you think it's doing well? No.
Womp womp.
Oh God, there was a research paper I forget a while back that said like nearly half of local Americans think that their local newspaper is doing well, and when they went to go check on the local newspaper, they were like, yeah, um, we keep the lights on like 4 out of 7 days of the week.
Damn.
Like it's just, and it goes back to that sort of mass conglomerate corporatization of like no local news, because what happens is these places just get bought out
Yeah.
and they merge, and where once there was like 3 or 4 competing newspapers in a given area, now you just got one.
Yeah.
you know
Well,
so you don't look to newspapers for jobs anymore.
yeah.
You're looking at media in general. We're getting media training.
Do you think there should be some kind of government bailout or support for journalism?
I don't know enough about responsible public policy to give a responsible answer to that.
No, that's better than the
But
answer I think most people would give if they had,
yeah,
had
I
a personal stake in it.
yeah, I would say that we just in general need to take a good hard look at what we want journalism to be. Because frankly, I think journalism is best when there's not a profit in. I mean, look at back at like the early 2000s with the massive rise of clickbait. Look
Yeah.
at all like just look at stuff that people and things have to resort to get a buck. You know,
Well,
when the profit.
go
I
ahead.
know
Sorry, I
you're a
don't mean to interrupt
neoliberal
you.
shill,
Yeah.
but I don't think the profit motive is good for everything.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is, what's the alternative to, what's the alternative to the? Well, I guess you could start a private nonprofit, and I guess I don't know what your alternative to that would be, right? Because
I mean,
I don't want to, like I don't want to watch or read like clickbait news for the most part, but if that's what people like, then that's what they'll seek out, right? But that doesn't preclude more serious publications. It just means they have to, I guess go for different business models. Maybe they have to focus more on extracting more value per customer instead of, instead of going for a wide audience that maybe they don't even charge anything to. I mean, different models, but I don't really know what the alternative is other than say, some kind of BBC type thing. I know people are mentioning NPR. NPR gets very little government funding anymore. I think it's like 2% or less. So these aren't like public newscasters anymore. Yeah.
yeah, it really is hard to imagine like a good alternative that's sustainable. You mentioned like a private nonprofit. ProPublica is something that's coming out of the woodworks to do good work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I know a part of what they do at least is they sort of like give local reporters
Mm-hmm.
the skills and tools necessary to cover stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you can like reach out to them and go like, hey, I'm trying to do like this. Can you help me with like building a graphic or like the data visualizations or
Oh,
that
that's
stuff,
cool.
and they'll like help out. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but I think you know one thing I'm kind of interested off, just coming off the top of my head, is sort of thinking about like like we already give the government already gives grants for research. Wouldn't it be possible to give grants like on the grounds reporting? We have ways of making sure that like nonprofits and other organizations are like apolitical.
Yeah.
Why don't we give grants to like local news businesses that are apolitical and just report on what's going on?
Yeah. Yeah. You could do that. Um. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's got to be, I don't know, as long as there's a big appetite of just those apolitical ones. I guess as long as there are people willing to donate to the cause. I don't know. I feel like the appetite is there for more serious journalism, but I mean, fundraising is probably always going to be an issue because. it just doesn't it doesn't have that kind of mass appeal at the moment. Maybe that will change with time. Maybe tastes will float away from clickbait nonsense and toward more serious stuff that people will want to will want more of. And I guess what I'd be curious about is how folks like the Associated Press and Reuters and these large organizations that do generate a lot of the news that then everybody else uses. I'm really curious how they survive and what their finances are like. Because I guess when they go, if they go, that's trouble. Because I know that a lot of small town newspapers, such as they still exist, depend on news from those big Associated Press outlets.
Mm-hmm. And sort of touching back on the clickbait stuff, clickbait actually has fallen by a larger margin, and it goes back to a profit motive. Because the reason why it changed is because advertiser metrics, they no longer paid attention to clicks on page. They prefer engagement.
Wow.
That's the big old rapid shift to the side. One day it was all clickbait, and the next it's like, hey, how can we capture people's attention for the longest periods of time? There's a reason why now we got videos always at the top of the news story before the rest of the story. It's because some people read fast, but everyone watches the video at the same speed.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Sometimes we watch things at 2x speed.
But what if the player doesn't have that?
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of news players have that. El Capitan West says, my hometown newspaper is run by a Republican hack who is so partisan it's not even funny. I don't know how I would feel about him getting a grant.
Yeah. That again, that's where it really comes down to no solution being perfect.
Yeah.
It's either you give money to a hack newspaper to keep the lights on, or you give them nothing and let that newspaper die, or other newspapers die rather.
So let me ask you, kind of as a question to kind of wind things down with. How are you feeling about? Oh my God, Condom says, how come Peyton hates Amazon so much? Amazon saved my family's life during this pandemic. You hate Amazon?
Wait, when did I bring up Amazon?
Yeah, I don't remember that coming up either. How did that come up, Condom? I was thinking, did I miss something? But I don't think so. Can't put a price on that. I don't remember that. Okay, so while because Amazon. He says he's reading your articles. Ooh.
Wait. Okay, I've written a lot of stuff. Which article on Amazon specifically?
Take note of those who profit from pandemics.
Oh, that one.
Let's see.
Well, I mean, let's see.
Okay, I'm going to read this, and we're going to go over it here.
Oh boy. Okay. Oh boy, hold the undergrad article to task.
Okay. Kita says she may not remember which article she was paid by Bezos to write and which she really wrote. Ooh, that's a big accusation.
Paid opposition.
Yeah, that's a big opposition.
It's not Soros giving me the Soros bucks. It's giving me the Bezos bucks. That's the real secret. And it's not actually Bezos bucks. It's just Amazon gift cards.
I pay our moderators in Dairy Queen gift cards. Kez, thank you for subscribing to Twitch Prime now for 8 months. So cool, my friend. Thank you very much for that. Good to have you. All right. Amid social distancing, it's important not to lose track of all the news going on. Between constant news releases and inspirational commercials, certain individuals and groups are acting not in the interests of the people, but rather for their own gain. While we do live in a capitalistic society that encourages the elevation of self above others, the actions of some can only be classified as immoral. Okay. A prime example of this is Amazon, one of the biggest corporations in modern society whose owner makes $149,353 a minute, is cleaning house. While it's nice to call their workers heroes for their service, Amazon also lays off those demanding basic protections for these frontline workers. Chris Smalls is a labor organizer who helped to form a strike at Staten Island over a lack of basic protective gear and hazard pay. Amazon decided to fire Smalls, who had worked there for over 5 years, citing a violation of social distancing guidelines. Amazon executives then decided to try and make Smalls the figurehead of the labor protests, as he is, in their opinion, not smart or articulate. Where'd you get the quote, not smart or articulate? That's so... I'm not denying that that's a real quote. It's just so... That sounds so Trumpian. That labor guy, he's not smart or articulate, okay?
Yeah, it's the... God, it's one of these links. I just found it. It's one of the Guardian pieces.
Yeah.
And the headline is quite literally Amazon execs labeled fired worker not smart or articulate in leaked PR notes.
That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the behavior of hand-wringing villains. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Ignoring the fact that in interviews, Smalls come off as incredibly conscientious, intelligent, and articulate, this behavior of Amazon is indisputably evil. The company is demanding that ill workers come in until they are able to get a confirmation from doctors to human resources departments and not even providing protective gear. Indisputably evil? Like, damn. I mean, to be clear, all right. If you have social, all right. So I get what you're saying. Basically, you're saying the social distancing guidelines are that was a pretext. They just fired him for labor organizing, right?
Yeah. And you have to remember, this is the opinion section. I do have to make it a flair. Far be it from me to be someone without sin in journalism. Mm-hmm. I am in the opinion section. Sounds like clickbait. You have me there, Shaquille O'Neal. You have me there. All right. A little bit.
This is the behavior of hand-wringing villains in some dystopian cyberpunk film. Snaps for Cyberpunk 2077, which will not be coming out on time. Let's see. This behavior of hand-wringing villains in some dystopian cyberpunk film, thinking about how to squeeze every last line of credit out of the public. The fact that it is taking place during a pandemic in our time is a failure on the part of our federal government to ensure the safety of the people. I guess I would say that I would agree with that second part, which is that if you think Amazon should be obligated to do all of these things in light of a pandemic, well, then the government should probably, pay them or something. It should give them money, I guess, because ultimately, they still have to, make margins. They still have to operate, right? So I guess I would go with that part. That to the extent a corporation is charged with enforcing pandemic rules, Well, anyway. All right. It is not just corporations and the federal government, though. Elected officials are also acting recklessly or worse. Take New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, who's doing almost daily press conferences talking about his cabinet's actions to help the people of his state. Yeah, Andrew Cuomo doesn't sound like he did a great job, huh? At the same time, he proposed making $2.5 billion in cuts to Medicaid in the state budget. The cuts would have made New York ineligible for $6.7 billion in emergency federal assistance for the state's Medicaid program for the duration of the pandemic, because the funds require states to maintain existing program standards and eligibility guidelines. Wow. Cuomo should instead tax those in the upper echelons of society, those who can afford expensive medical treatments without support from the state. These cuts would invariably lead to more harm and death to lower-income families. Without support from Medicaid, there will be people who are directly affected. While Cuomo could do far more to support the people of New York, he instead opts to ensure that the wealthiest in his state are affected the least by this increasingly drastic pandemic. So they cut 2.7. Let's see, they cut 2.7 or $5 billion in cuts to Medicaid in the state budget. Wow. Oh, wow. So here's an article, and then you linked an article. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo used his coronavirus hero status to slash the healthcare budget. Wow. That's crazy. I know states need to balance the budget, but I guess that does seem like a strange time to cut Medicare and Medicaid. Despite these unfortunate acts of selfishness, it's also important to remember that there are people standing up and doing the best in these times. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has ordered extensive shutdowns, going so far as to order a stay-at-home directive. This shuts down all non-essential businesses and restricts travel, as well as suspends public gatherings. Violators of this order will now face up to 1,000 fines as additional incentive to not go out. This pandemic is a humanitarian crisis of epic proportions. Anyone who's not doing their best to try and mitigate the damage done should be remembered as an enemy of their fellow man. Whoa! When this is passed, it's up to all of us to remember that these businesses and elected officials failed the people and to bring them to justice through whatever means possible. Man, so strong words there. I mean, really, like, anyone who is not doing their best to try and mitigate the damage done should be remembered as an enemy of their fellow man. That's a biting language, man. Like, so I mean, that's a big statement.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big statement, you know?
Like, I get that. Like, for example, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has ordered extensive shutdowns, going so far as to order a stay-at-home directive that shuts down non-essential businesses and restricts travel, as well as suspends public gatherings. I know you were saying, despite these unfortunate acts of selfishness, it's important to remember that people are staying up and doing their best. But, like, I don't know. Like, is a shutdown necessarily an act of selflessness? I mean, aren't there people, like, even if I would probably regard it as necessary sometimes, I mean, isn't that itself an act that really disrupts people's lives and, I mean, causes people to lose jobs? And, I mean, it's not, I mean, it comes with real costs, and it seems like, I don't know, the longer all of this goes on, the more I wonder about the efficacy of shutdowns, given that, the results we're seeing in this country as a result of our shutdowns have just not, I don't know, it seems like I don't know how effective they've been,
I mean, yeah, but it also comes back to the fact that, oh God, I forget where exactly it was, but I know someone said, like, had we just, like, shut down, done nothing, not gathered for 2-3 weeks,
yeah,
and just sort of had the federal government step in and help pay off all the expenses that would be necessary for that shutdown,
yeah,
we could have been over with this.
yeah,
The fact that the shutdown didn't work is also in part due to the fact that, one, the shutdown didn't go far enough. Two, there wasn't enough support to fully shut down everything. And three, not everyone shut down, and people still met in spite of this.
Yeah,
we're not exactly in a totalitarian state where we have cameras in everyone's homes, and the minute you step outside, the governor, like, walks up to your door and slaps you with $1,000 fine across the face.
I don't know, man. Andrew Cuomo has been having it's been weird in New York how obsessed, especially Andrew Cuomo and the mayor of New York, Bill de Blasio, have been with the state's religious population, particularly with Jews who have been, maintaining their religious traditions. And I know Bill de Blasio, for example, was talking repeatedly about we're going to shut these synagogues down, and we're going to keep people from meeting. So I don't know. I mean, it seems like some states have been really on point with respect to enforcing quarantine. Like the New York Police Department was really fierce about doing that. I've seen videos of the NYPD tackling people to the ground for refusing to put masks on. So, I don't know. It seems like states have been, some states at least, have been pretty fierce in enforcing some of these restrictions.
Yeah, I mean, it also just comes back to the fact that I've seen what, like, a lack of shutdowns have done in Iowa.
Yeah.
Because, God, I was just terrible at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I honestly didn't go back to school this semester because of COVID.
Yeah.
Because I have, I don't want to stand here listing off medical history, but basically, I have really bad lungs.
Yeah.
And
Oof.
I just can't catch this, and I'll die if I do.
Oh, wow.
But the fact that Iowa was so out of control
Mm-hmm.
meant that, I couldn't risk going back to school because if you look at infections, it's just god awful, and no one's doing anything to try and curtail this.
So that's really personal. So when you call somebody indisputably evil for not doing everything they can, I can see why you would much more directly feel that way when you're like, if I catch this, I'm gonna die.
I mean, yeah, I think it's in large part, sort of because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, for some people, it's, oh yeah, if I catch it, I might get the sniffles,
Yeah.
I might cough a bit, and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And so I'll go out and interact with people
Mm-hmm.
because I don't really need to worry about much.
Yeah.
But, if I catch it, I'm just going to drop dead in 2 days.
Wow. Damn. Well, yeah, I mean, that kind of that adds some more context to it. I still think that Amazon does a lot more good than bad. I don't think I would call like Amazon evil or Jeff Bezos evil. For ultimately, engaging in a pretty ordinary business practice, which is discouraging unionization. Which, I mean, look, I think people should have the right to try and form a union, but I also recognize that companies don't want unions. And I guess beyond that, what was I going to say? Yeah, to the rest of your point though, Andrew Cuomo though seems like he got a lot of like early credibility compared to Trump for being a seemingly effective leader, but in practice, I don't know how effective he's actually been. Like his order to keep COVID patients in nursing homes seems to have been an abject disaster in retrospect. And even as COVID-19 has spread to other states, New York State seems to have suffered uniquely, as a result of like COVID-19. So it seems like he's done I don't know. I'd probably go along with your hit on Andrew Cuomo there. So. So I guess I got him. Thanks for that. That was a fun way to tie things up. Was to grill our resident journalist on a piece she wrote. That was fun.
Yeah, that was actually kind of fun. It'd be fun to have people hold my feet to the fire like that.
Yeah, that was fun. I remember I used to write when I was in high school. I wrote opinion pieces on our local newspaper, and I had a teacher one time for AP U.S. History. Who he spent an entire class. Basically, I wrote an article called, let's see, I was very Republican at the time, and I wrote an article, and the question in the article was, why do they hate us? Why do people in other countries hate us? And it was a really ridiculous article. It was like, for example, it was about, maybe they hate us because we're so wealthy, or maybe they hate us because of our values. And, maybe they're jealous, that kind of stuff. And he spent the entire class he just canceled whatever was on the docket that day and spent the entire class just kind of attacking me and attacking my article and, basically challenging me to defend myself. And that was good. I enjoyed it, actually. I thought that was fun. At the time, I felt like really kind of empowered. Not empowered, maybe empowered isn't the right word, but like the notion of my teacher like attacking me for my views felt very empowering in a sense. But I also remember doing a not terrible job of defending myself. So there was that. But yeah, so I can kind of appreciate that experience. It's a lot of fun. The high road of the persecuted, indeed. Yeah, like he says, the high road of the persecuted. It's crazy, right? Like that's one of the strangest phenomena. I don't know of like. I don't know if this is a modern thing or this is just, I guess, the way the human condition is. But the notion of it seems like when you actually attack somebody and disprove them, rarely does that actually, like, you've got to really dunk them to change their mind. Because generally speaking, it seems like all it does is convince people to dig in harder and deny reality harder, when you attack them directly. Because Anyway, okay. So that was kind of a tangent, but it was a lot of fun talking to you, Peyton. I appreciate your time tonight. Is there?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, is there anything else you'd like to share with everybody here tonight while we're chatting?
If I'm just doing my shout outs, PA Downing 2190 on Twitter. Go to the Daily Iowan if you want to keep up with all my good, hard hitting anti-Amazon pieces.
There you go. Right there.
And for anybody who out there is trans and wants to go into journalism, go to the Trans Journalists Association. Basically, it's there for the sake of helping trans people network, because unfortunately, not a lot of people kind of. It's getting better. It's not as good as it could be. Yeah. Still some discrimination. So there's to help you connect with all your other trans journalists.
Right on. Keegan says that is unironically amazing. Well, that sounds unironically based. So very cool. God, I can't believe I just used that in a sentence, like unironically. God, I'm getting too twitchy. It's like that time I used the word poggers. Okay. Do you have a Patreon?
I don't. We'll see.
We should get Patreons. That's a thing now. People do that. Like, they literally will give you money for making content on the internet. It's pretty incredible.
I know, it's crazy. This crazy newfound thing.
The market provides for every niche.
Yeah, see, the real niche is, I think someone mentioned Professor Erotica earlier. Why not do journalism erotica? Get your porn consumption and your daily news update in the same moment.
There was a news channel in Russia called like Naked News, and basically that was the idea. I don't know if you've seen this before, but yeah, that was basically the idea. Was just the newscaster, female nudes. Sorry, I almost said newscaster. The female newscaster would just get up and would, okay, so today in Russia there were 56 violent crimes, and and they would just take their clothes off while saying it, So yeah, it can certainly work.
Yeah, I think it's good to get off before we break TOS.
All right. So on that note, Peyton, thank you so much for the chat. It was good talking with you, and I hope you have a good evening.
Yeah, same to you. Yeah, take care, Bashiat. See you around.
All right. So, folks, what'd you think? That was pretty fun. There's a link. No, I can't link you to that. I don't know what became of it. I don't know how it stuck. That was like a news item in our news here some years ago. Okay, so be sure to give Peyton a follow on twitter.com. That was pretty fun. I enjoyed that.
Kite donated $5. Can you undo one more button, please? Thank you.
I can, but the thing is that you wouldn't actually see, right? I've currently got all the buttons undone, and you just can't see. I don't know what the rules are for a guy being shirtless on Twitch. Is that allowed? I mean, that seems like that would be allowed, but yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's not allowed. I guess that's fair, but annoying. All right, let's button the shirt back up. What is the line like? No nipples or something? That's probably the line, right? Okay. I actually unbutton, rebutton. Okay, there we go. All right, Lisa, thank you for that. I appreciate that. And Kite, thank you very much for the $5. I appreciate that too. Glad you're still here. Kite used the 50,000 channel point kick the caller reward. Now I should have a note there that. You can't use that when we have a special guest on. I mean, you can use it. I just won't honor it. But I did notice that. But you can use it. You're absolutely right. You can use it. You are free as the air and may do as you please. I will refund the points. Thank you for that, Shaq. All right. Always Dark says, it wasn't at first, at the last update to TOS about nudity, they explicitly say it's not allowed if the streamer presents as female. Wah wah. Downey says, nah man, you should have honored it. That would have been hilarious. Aw, well, I enjoyed the chat. Especially at the end, that was a lot of fun going over your article. Tarrant says, I used this button once for nothing. It was a real caller. I'm sure it's a useless button. It's not a useless button. We honor it most of the time, right? Okay. So that was fun. Polar's World, good to have you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. So, have you voted yet? Yes, I did vote. You'll never guess who for. But I did vote. Yeah, it was actually super easy. Like, in and out in 5 minutes. It was very, very good. Gundam, thank you for gifting a tier 1 subscription to Shaquille Oatmeal number 5. Very cool. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I didn't vote for Joe Jorgensen. I don't vote for isolationism. And that's Joe Jorgensen's platform, is isolationism. Get it out of here. I don't want any of that. This country has to be engaged in the world. If it's not, there's no avoiding it, right? What were the times that we tried to avoid being engaged in the world, right? World War I, World War II. What happened? We just ended up dragged into the world on somebody else's terms. So no, we have to be involved. We have to set the tune, or others will do it for us. But we're too big to be uninvolved in the affairs of the world. No man is an island, as Perry says, and especially when you are a figure as big as the United States is. Gundam says, Bassy, please do a stream with Pepper on election night. Gundam, I asked him. about that. He is apparently doing he's apparently doing something else on election night. But if he's around, we'll definitely talk to him. Yeah, election night's tough because on the one hand, I really want Joe Biden to win because I think Donald Trump is a terrible president. On the other hand, Trump is way better content. So I guess, I don't know. Either way, there are, there are big pluses and minuses as somebody who does content on the internet. Counterband says, Bassiett, Tim has not made a single point in the Vosh debate. Just felt like you wanted to know that. Thanks for the tip. Yeah, that's too bad. I don't know. So you're saying it's boring, basically? That's no good. Kite says, Bassiett is a high-powered lawyer and he doesn't even have his own fallout shelter to spend election night in. Imagine risking your entire life like that. Yeah. Actually, we do have a pantry full of, emergency food, but lately I've been digging into the pantry instead of going to the store. So I'm actually very poorly equipped for the apocalypse. Yeah. Womp womp. Mega Pepe mods indeed. Yeah, I gotta get that replenished. Okay. Joe will gaff through, Bassiett. You can turn to a lecture fan. Yeah, that's okay. I don't think so. Okay, stop body shaming. Who's body shaming? Oh, Lisa's body shaming. That's true. You have to buy cheap land in Montana so you can build a big bunker. Indeed. That's one way to do it. That's one way to do it. Okay. Let's see here. Hey, Opossum friend. Thank you so much for subscribing now with Twitch Prime. I appreciate that. 6 months. Very cool. I think you may have just got another badge with that. So it's good to have you here, my friend. Polar World, I hope you're doing well. Sorry I had to bail on you a couple weeks back, but I'm glad you're here. Someone said you looked like Lecture Fan earlier tonight. Really? I don't think I look like Lecture Fan. But, hey, Lecture Fan's, Lecture Fan's all right, except for, all of his opinions. Those are no good. But he's a nice guy. Dang says, now you guys are small brain. Go to Iowa and hide in the cornfields. You get to make bad booze out of corn, too. Well, that's fun. Yeah, I should have asked about corn subsidies. Well, I guess if you're a Michigander rather than an Iowan, maybe you don't have any real strong feelings about that. Kite says you do kind of look like Lecture Fan if he was thin and attractive. Ouch. Okay, well, thank you for buttering me up, folks. I appreciate that. Man, I have been away for too long because Lecture Fan is heroic. If you're a conservative on Twitch, Lecture Fan is basically the only person out there speaking to you. So, Also, there is nobody on Twitch who sticks more to character than Lecture Fan. That guy is consistently MAGA. Downing says, I completely forgot the one thing I want to hold your feet to the fire for. Well, hey, go for it now. Give me if you want to type it out, I'll do my best. Now it's cool. I can go missing sometimes. I know, that was crazy. I was gone for so long, nobody even asked where I was. Actually, no, that's not true. I did a meme the day afterward about how I woke up in a tub of ice missing a kidney. Lucas says, if you're a Confederate Lecture Fan, is Robert E. If you're a Confederate Lecture Fan, is Robert E. Lee except unsuccessful? Well, Robert E. Lee was unsuccessful. I mean, ultimately, But he was successful for a while. Downey says, why did you claim people who are anti-soy are anti-American? Why do you discriminate against those with soy allergies? Well, that's not anti-soy. That just means you can't tolerate soy. What gets me is people who are like, hey, if you eat too much soy, if you eat too many soybeans, you drink too much soy milk, you're gonna grow breasts as a man. It's gonna make you into a femboy, which is not true. But which is more, I don't know. It's all, I mean, there are probably a lot of people who, I can think of some people who, you know, that would be fun. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want it, but, you know. Tim's friend just said we should judge people because we are genetically different. Well, maybe I'll put the Tim Vosh debate in the background, you know, while I'm working tomorrow, and if it's any good, maybe we'll make a YouTube video out of it or something. I thought about streaming on YouTube tonight, so that we could listen to the Tim Pool Vosh thing, but, you know, that's all right. But I've been gone for a while. Our views have cratered. I gotta get back into it. Let's see. I've been slammed at work lately, though. Soybeans actually play an integral part in the plot of Atlas Shrugged and help destroy America. What? How do they destroy America in Atlas Shrugged? Never actually read it. I feel like those kinds of discussions are best reserved for 2x speed. Maybe. Yeah. Shock. Honestly, I'm getting tired of Twitch. I'm thinking of restreaming to YouTube. Well, I don't know. I do wonder whether or not it would be better to check out YouTube, but I don't know, really. I know Vosh has done quite well on YouTube, but, you know. Destiny's listened to Vosh before, hasn't he? Yes, but at this point, you know, basically my fear is that it would be an easy report and then ban, because it's a clear violation of the rules. You can't stream anything with Vosh in it on Twitch. The plot of Atlas Shrugged is they build a perpetual motion device to save the world. 1010 economic policy basing decisions on an impossible object. That's not the plot of it, is it? Yeah, I've never read it because it's way too long. Didn't you listen to the Destiny Vosh debate and it was fine? That's true. I don't know. I think I got lucky. Right? John Galt does invent a motor that runs on water or something. Oh, well. Yeah, I guess I was thinking basically I got lucky with the Vosh thing. I guess, though, that's true. That did work out okay. I don't know. Hard to say. Maybe, I guess my fear is that, wait a minute. He just says, well, Rarest Pepper, honestly, I think I might talk to Bassi about your odd rhetoric. This chat is definitely an integral part to his stream, and you are sullying it by telling me and many others to kill themselves. You've got some major problems, and I worry that they are never going to be solved if you loiter here, letting other people's sadness and derision inculcate your bitterness. Because newsflash, no one likes you. Did somebody say that about you, Kite? Because, wow. Yeah, that sounds like something, I mean, you know, you are traditionally the person who tells people to, you know, take a permanent nap. Law of Science 3. Good evening to you too. It's good to have you. Oh, KJ says that's a classic Criminal Cutie copy pasta, but I like that you thought someone said to me. Yeah, I mean, it does sound like something somebody would say to you. Kite here is notorious in every sense of the word for telling people to off themselves. Counterban asks, what do you put in your hair? I put Aussie mousse in my hair. That's what I do. It's kind of longer lately, so I don't put the hair paste that I used to put on, because I find that when my hair gets long, it makes it really kind of thick like a pomade. So I don't like that. I just use a little bit of mousse. And occasionally, before a stream, I'll fluff it up a bit with some dry shampoo. So that's what I do. That's what I do lately. Rob Boss says Rarest Pepper is based. He is indeed based. Rarest Pepper is a great. Oh my God, Rarest Pepper is a real. He's a legend of the channel here for sure. Is Bassett going to go mask off as Never Trump Republican on November 4th? Well, I guess I'm already not a fan of Trump, but I'm not a Republican. Although in another universe, you know, with a more reasonable party, I might be. Lehman says, original version of that meme. Oh, thank you for that. Quan says, what brand of dry shampoo do you use? Where's your promo code? God, I'm so bad. I need to reach out and do some of the sponsorship stuff, but, you know, I just don't. Well, unban him, jerk. He's never been banned from the Twitch chat. He is banned from the Discord, but, you know, I mean, he's too edgy for that. Okay, so... Folks, I've got to get to, unfortunately, I've got to get to do some more work tonight. I've got to to write. Let's see. Bassett going to do PragerU video about how he left liberalism? No, I don't think so. Yeah, me too. Sorry, I got to go work or something. No, I've got to work on a cover letter. I'm working on a project to where I might be able to stream more officially. With a group I've been looking at doing some more work with, but I've got to put together some materials to do that. So we'll see. I don't have another Zoom call, although I do have to get back on. So before we do that, let's see if there's somebody in Twitch to visit here. I know who will visit. Okay, wait. No, they're not streaming anything good. Are you getting stressed at work as a high-paid lawyer for a fossil fuel corporation? Oh my god, it's been so busy lately too. I mean, it's always baseline busy doing the legal stuff, but oh my god, lately it has just been so much all the time. And then I get into this habit of, bad habit of staying up late to catch up on work, and then, the next day I'm exhausted. And then like today, I took a nap before the stream because I was just so exhausted after work. Man, it's super annoying. What is your normal routine at work? Well, normally my work is like 40 to 50 hours a week, but like especially last week, it's been so much more. Who's generating all the work? Is Joe Biden suing your corporation already? No. No, I don't think Joe Biden will be suing my corporation. But I just big transactions going on, and gosh, all of the work that goes into facilitating large corporate transactions, it's a real grind. When do you think your fossil fuel company becomes a renewables company? I don't know, probably never. Maybe someday, but I mean, fossil fuel is going to be part of the mix for a long time. So I'm not really. I don't really think that's in the cards. Maybe. I guess it depends. Like we do have. Let's see. One of the companies I've worked for has definitely sold. Renewable products, like carbon offsets, but that's I imagine not exactly what you had in mind. So. Okay. Poor Passy. Yeah, indeed. Okay, so folks, let's see who's going on here. Oh my goodness, Amy Coney Barrett just hosted us. Whoa! Newest Supreme Court Justice and apparently Twitch streamer Amy Coney Barrett just hosted us and said, "Fuck you, Bassett." First of all, not very judicial. Not very judicious, I gotta say, to just log in and just say "fuck you." It's kind of rude. But beyond that, congrats on the confirmation. Wish you hadn't immediately then gone to an after party with President Trump afterward. Kind of unnecessary. Kind of a bad look, given that he's likely to bring a lot of work to your court very soon. I imagine Chief Justice Roberts wasn't a fan of that, but hey, congrats all the same. I'm sure you will be a very memorable justice. Amy is a Catholic jokester, says Rob Boss. She likes to stir the pot, as they say. Well, we certainly managed to do that. Oh my goodness, ACB. I am glad to hear that you actually love me. I love you too. Okay. Especially if I ever end up in front of you. Like, hey, now that's no way for a handmaid to talk, all right, Amy Coney? That's we don't like that kind of talk here in this chat, okay? And holy moly. Congrats on being the first of 6 new judges? Yeah, I don't think so. Not sure about that. 3 lawyers from Bush v. Gore. What could go wrong? Yeah. Juan says, you remind me of Perry Mason. Thank you for that. I think. Right? I mean, hell, it's better than reminding you of Judge Judy. Okay. Bossy, have you ever attempted to calculate how much CO2 you're responsible for in your life? No, although I probably could, and that would be fun to figure out. It would be fun to figure out. Although, I'd say I'm probably responsible for a negative amount, given the amount of CO2 from coal that has been displaced by natural gas, I'm probably responsible for a decline in carbon emissions. All right, that's my guess. Bossy, have you seen the Trump rally playing Linkin Park? It's funny as hell. Oh my God, Linkin Park. Ugh. I mean, I listened to it when I was a teenager, but God, that doesn't seem like good music for anything anymore. But okay. Oh God, Linkin Park, no way. Okay, all right, let's listen to it. Why not? Okay, let's listen to it. Okay.
Before you, oh, here we go. A little
Not
video.
which party controls our government,
Let's go to this.
but
video
whether
real quick.
our government is controlled by the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital
Yeah, I'm sorry about the audio. I don't know why it's
has reaped the
doing this.
rewards of government, while the people have borne the cost. The establishment protected itself, but not the citizens of our country. That all changes starting right here and right now.
Hey, wait, whose picture did they just tear up? Oh, is that Nancy Pelosi? Hey, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Can we get real here? All right, first of all, car production has nothing to do with it. But, you know, if you want to say tariffs, okay, all right, well, that's something. You know, it's nonsense. Tariffs have done far more damage to the economy than they've done any benefit. But I guess maybe you could say there's a factory out there that he's responsible for. This part, though, what, that rocket launch? Was that SpaceX? Is he trying to take credit for the good work of Elon Musk? I think that's an F-35, so I don't think that's 1990s stock jet fighter footage. But again, the F-35, is he trying to claim credit for that? That's America's great defense contractors. Wait, defund the police. Okay, I thought it said defund the oil, and I was like, hold on a minute here.
Before you, oh, here we go.
I don't think that was Trump's fault, the ear balance, because at the beginning, it's there. It's not there for this. Baby Gravy says, you're going to watch the Vosh Tim Pool debate? I don't know. If it's good, then maybe we'll do it on stream and take the risk. But I don't know.
Which party controls our government?
It would depend, though, I guess. If it was genuinely good, then maybe it would be worth rolling the dice on a copyright strike or something, right? Okay. All right. So with that, folks, thanks for the link there. Linkin Park, Trump. Oh my God, what is that about? All right. So if there was a way I could raid a YouTube channel, I would do that, so you folks can check it out. But I don't think there is. So what we're gonna do is, let's see, what else is going. You can raid I'm Really Important. I think I'm gonna check out. I think I know who we'll check out. Let's go visit Granddad Christmas as many folks know here in the channel, is a great friend of the channel. I miss Granddad Christmas. He's been away for a couple of months, and I know one of his favorite streamers is a guy by the name of Zane Carney. So you know what? In honor of Granddad Christmas, another great Iowan. And a great friend of the channel, Granddad Christmas, light a candle for him. We're hoping he comes back real soon in one piece. We're gonna go visit Zane Carney, his favorite streamer. Okay, so we're gonna check that out. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here tonight. It was a lot of fun chatting with every one of you. Short stream, but hopefully we'll be done and caught up with work real soon so we can get back to a more normal streaming schedule. Tomorrow night, we're going to be talking with a First Amendment attorney by the name of Ari Cohn, and it's going to be a good discussion. I'm looking forward to it, so that'll be fun. On that note, have a wonderful night, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Take care.